There's obviously been a huge explosion in personal brands over the last 20 years. And now, because information has become essentially free, everyone now has the option, at least, to develop the ability to create, grow, and provide value to the world through their own personal brand. And so the biggest thing is that there's nothing stopping somebody now from launching, creating, building their brand in order to provide the value, their knowledge, their services to anyone on earth. And that's a huge change, because it just wasn't possible for a single person to do that, let alone get good enough at all the skills when I first started out. There's a great comment and book out there that talks about any creator that if they create value consistently enough and they share it with the world, if you can build 1,000 genuine fans that get value from the type of content that you create, whether that's instruction or education, and that will spend $100 a year to see you, to learn from you, to work with you, you're going to make a six-figure income just by building out that content online. And so that is the biggest advantage that everybody has, is that they can actually find all of those people. If you're creating great content and you're putting it online where those people are, they can discover it and you can start to build those 1,000 true fans. So that's a key advantage that we have now that we didn't have in the past.
What works for you to persevere, adapt, and keep pushing through?
I think this answers the same for kind of every aspect of life, and that is, what is your why? What is the reason that you're doing things? The most successful content creators, for example, had a why, like they just enjoyed creating video, or they enjoyed learning, or they enjoyed teaching, or they enjoyed entertaining, and so that's their why. They get joy out of it. That's the reason I'm here with you right now. I get a energy charge out of teaching and talking about these things with other people who enjoy learning them like nothing else in my life. When you run into those blocks, it's important to recognize that a good content creation strategy is like 80% doing what's worked, what you know works, or in other words, what people have liked, shared, commented on, the things that people have engaged with that you've already created, and 20% testing. So whether you're testing a new type of video or a new type of hook, or exploring new ways of touching on the emotions that you want them to feel when they consume your content, you got to remember there's no way to do this perfect. And so we think that you can fall in this trap that the world is supposed to enjoy my stuff. But the fact is, it might just be your first thing or your 50th thing. And that video, you'll get better every time. Everybody has 100 bad videos in them. So like the most important thing is to just get through those first 100 bad videos and learn something from every single one. So if you're stuck creatively, create something, release it, and learn from it. And then you've gained, regardless of whether you're feeling stuck or not.
So I agree with what you're saying, and be a progressionist over a perfectionist. Because you're right, if you're trying to make it perfect for yourself, then congratulations. You made it perfect for one person. Just getting it out there, learning, A/B testing it, being a progressionist instead of a perfectionist is what's going to help you and get that consistent stature of authentic drive and building something that'll last. How can new creators find their authentic voice without just copying what's popular?
So I think that if people viewed content creation the way they view learning an instrument, there'd be a lot less stress around that particular question and topic. Well, what do we do with musicians? We don't sit them down and say like, okay, the very first thing you're going to do before we learn chords or scales or handling the guitar is you're going to write a song, right? It's like, whoa, that's a different thing. That's something that requires these foundational skills to then be creative. Copying is a valuable way of learning something because you can compare it to a known standard. I think it's actually a great idea for content creators to find stuff that's working in their niche or in other niches. Generally, you're going to inject your own thoughts, your own lessons, your own life experiences. And so then in kind of an effort to copy, you're actually creating something new.
For my last couple questions, I'm going to dive a little more into the theme of perseverance for when life or projects don't go the way you intended, because there's going to be unpredictability at every turn. And one of the biggest things for surviving, let alone thriving in the entertainment industries, is being able to persevere and adapt.
I was watching a Stephen King movie the other day, and we went and looked up afterwards, like, how many books has he written? And it was something like 169 books. And he, like every other professional writer I know, has a working system. They treat the writing, or they treat the content creation, or they treat whatever it is like a real job. They spend 8 hours a day. They show up at the same place. They sit down, they work on it. The most successful people are the ones that get up and just treat it like a job. So you just get up the next day and you treat yourself like a brand, which means you're going to get up and you're going to create again. I got a piece of advice from the only billionaire I've ever known. How do you deal with sometimes projects that feel like they're just stuck? And he said, over your life, you'll have projects or you'll have things that you work on and they grow and they turn into something amazing. You'll have others that just kind of fade away. Yep, I poured my heart into that one and that one just faded away. And the people that are still succeeding are the ones that just put their pants back on one leg at a time the next day and kept creating, kept building, kept writing, and treated themselves and their brand like a business that was worth continually investing into.
My last question for you is, if you could condense this whole interview that we've just gone through into a single fortune cookie message for aspiring creators, what would it say?
I think it's maybe a little echo of the ancient Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, because there was this saying in it that, they said, if you build it, they will come. But again, everybody that's had a long career kept building. If you build it ongoing, they will come. You'll learn how to make that a value exchange, whether that's them buying your time or your product or your services, or it's just something that maybe you just want to create entertainment. And then the world will find you for that too. So keep building it and they will eventually come.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adam.
You're welcome, Braxton. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.